The first thing I noticed after he left was the quiet. Not peace, just quiet. Like a room waiting for someone to speak. I sat on the edge of the sofa, the imprint of his departure still warm on the cushion beside me. My phone buzzed. A text from Jason. Jason, I think it's better if we both take time. You'll see this is for the best. No punctuation after better. As if he couldn't be bothered to finish the thought. The front door still hung slightly ajar. He hadn't closed it fully. I got up, walked to it, and pressed it shut. The click echoed. I never asked you to stay small, Elena. He'd said that once. We were at a dinner party, and I'd challenged his friend on some half-baked crypto theory. You corrected him in front of everyone, Jason whispered sharply when we got into the car. There's a way to win without making it look like a win. And there's a way to not sound like a fraud, I replied. He didn't answer. I walked into the kitchen and opened a bottle of wine, something red, dry. The kind he always said made me too blunt. I poured a glass, sat down at the counter. My laptop was still open, the last tab he'd used. Flight search, New York to Lisbon. One dash away. I didn't cry. Instead, I opened a new document and typed one sentence. What he never saw. Why do you laugh so loud? He'd asked me a year into the relationship. I laughed. Again. Because things are funny, Jason. I mean, sure. But it's big. You fill a room. Not everyone's comfortable with that. He kissed me after. Softly. Like a bribe. I scrolled through old emails. My name cropped up in subject lines he forwarded to investors. I skimmed one where he pitched our branding firm as his solo venture. Are you going to say I was just a silent partner? I'd asked when I found it months ago. You handled the back end. I was the face. It's not a lie. It's not the truth either. Elena, don't do this now. We're in front of a client. I had learned to walk on eggshells, without looking down, smiling through every let me do the talking, nodding through every you're being too much. And every time I backed off, he kissed my forehead like I was some wild dog he'd calmed. My phone buzzed again. Jason, I'm staying at the Intercontinental tonight. Don't worry about the key. I'll have someone pick up the rest later. I typed. Who is she? Deleted it. Typed again. You'll need to pay your half of the lease. Deleted that too. Instead, I put the phone face down and walked into the bedroom. The closet was still half full, his suits hanging like ghosts. I pulled down a box from the top shelf. Inside, sketches, brand concepts I drafted. Our early vision, my handwriting all over them. He used to say I had CEO energy. Back when he thought it was sexy. Before he realized it scared him. We had one fight that actually stuck. Why do you always have to have the last word? He snapped during an argument about a pitch deck. Because I know I'm right. He stood very still. That's the problem, Elena. You always think you're right. It's exhausting. I remember saying, calmly, then leave. He didn't. Not then. I walked out onto the balcony with my wine. The city hummed below, a low, constant throb. Not unlike me, I thought. I remembered my mother once telling me, loud women scare quiet men, and that's not your problem to solve. Jason wasn't quiet, not exactly. He was the kind of loud that needed a spotlight without ever earning it. Back inside, I sat again at the kitchen island and opened the drawer where we kept miscellaneous papers, receipts, dry cleaning tags, a few cards. One from him, Valentine's Day, 2 years ago. You make everything feel alive, even when you scare me a little. I tore it in half, then in half again, dropped it into the sink, let it sit. He once told me my ambition was unsexy. You light up when you talk about campaigns and clients, he said. It's a little much, so I should dim it. No, no. I'm just saying, balance is attractive. I walked to the mirror in the hallway, looked at myself, sharp jaw, brown eyes he once said could cut steel, hair pulled back in. A bun he hated said it made me look too executive. I smiled. You build me into your fear. I whispered to my reflection. I returned to the document on my laptop, typed more. He never saw the nights I stayed up editing his decks. He never saw how I rewrote every proposal behind his back to make them coherent. He never saw how I shrank, word by word, smile by smile, for him to feel Taleri saved it, titled it Inventory. Part one wasn't sure what part two would be, but I knew it would be louder. Asterisk, 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 asterisk. The glass conference room was freezing. I sat across from Jason, his laptop open, projecting the quarterly review slides onto the wall. Leila stood behind me, silent, her notepad at her side. Let's move to slide 6, Jason said, clicking forward. This shows client growth by sector. Strong numbers in luxury lifestyle and fintech. I leaned forward. Where's the breakdown by strategist? He clicked again. Didn't seem necessary. I stared at the screen. 5 client logos. No mention of my campaigns. No data tags. No initials. I ran 3 of those accounts. They know that internally, he said smoothly. This is investor-facing. Leila shifted. I felt it. A breath caught. Put the previous deck up, I said. Elena, now. He exhaled, clicked back to Q1. There, at the bottom of every slide, in 10-point font, strategist. I pointed. And, now, it's formatting, he said. Streamlined. I looked at Leila. How long have these been changed? She hesitated. 2 weeks. You didn't think to tell me. Jason said you'd approved it. My eyes snapped to him. Did I? You saw the draft. I saw a draft. It had my name on it. It's branding, Elena. We're one unit. This isn't personal. You removed me from my own work. His smile flickered. We needed clean lines. Investors respond to simplicity. You mean a single face. Yours? I'm the pitch. You're the delivery. That's always been the dynamic. No, Jason. You were supposed to be the pitch. I am the delivery. Silence. Back in my office. I closed the door and locked it. Leila knocked 30 seconds later. Elena, come in. She stepped inside, guilt pressed into her posture. You knew. I didn't want to believe it. She said. He said it was temporary. Temporary removal of credit. He said it was strategic positioning. That he'd circle back. After the deal closed. I sat. And the legal file. She blinked. What file? I slid the folder across my desk. I checked the Secretary of State's registry. He filed an ownership amendment. Her face drained. He can't. You're 50-50. Not anymore. He submitted form for OTA, claimed I was stepping back. Resigned as managing partner. You didn't sign anything. I didn't have to. He forged a time-stamped resignation. Filed it last week. Leila lowered herself into the chair. What do you want to do? I want a lawyer. Anthony. Kessler's office smelled like paper and coffee. He didn't smile when I walked in. Just motioned toward the seat. You brought everything? He asked. I handed him the folder. Emails. Contracts. Screenshots. He flipped through the first 10 pages. This amendment's aggressive. If this goes to court, he'll claim operational majority, decision fatigue, probable consent. I never gave consent. You didn't revoke it either. That's his angle. He closed the folder. Tell me about the firm. Who built what? I founded it. Branding was my concept. Jason brought capital and pitch polish. I created the methodology. Proof. Original. Decks. Registered IP. Emails to early clients. I have dated drafts and timestamps. And the assistant. Loyal. She's been with me since year 2. She's seen everything. Anthony nodded slowly. We send a cease and desist for brand misrepresentation. File an injunction on unilateral ownership change. It'll freeze equity restructuring. He won't see it coming. No. He'll see you coming. The next morning, Jason was waiting. By the elevator. Elena. I pressed the button. You're early. You left the review without debriefing. I didn't feel the need. Listen, he said, voice low. This is a misunderstanding. No, Jason. A typo is a misunderstanding. A forged legal document is theft. His jaw tightened. You want to escalate this. I already have. His eyes narrowed. You think you'll win. The elevator pinged. I stepped in. I'm not playing your game. I'm changing the rules. That night, I poured wine and watched the light fade over the skyline. I replayed every pitch we'd ever done. Every time he said, "Let me take it from here." Every smile he wore. While using my words, Leela texted, "Got the calendar invite. Anthony's solid. Let me know how I can help," I replied. You already are. The city below shimmered. For the first time, I didn't feel invisible. I felt sharp, and sharp cuts clean. I didn't scream. I didn't throw things. I made a spreadsheet. Each tab held a piece of what used to be us dates, file names, line items, discrepancies. I wore silence like armor and stayed late after the office cleared. No one asked. They never do when a woman works quietly. The door creaked open. Elena? Jason. I didn't turn. You need something. He stepped in. We should talk. Talk. Then. This thing with the amendment, don't blow it out of proportion. You forged my resignation. I anticipated it. I faced him. You anticipated that I'd step down without telling me and filed it as fact. It was a formality. Forgery's not a formality. He shifted. You're emotional. I almost laughed. No, I'm methodical. Elena, come on. You're smarter than this. We had momentum, and I moved decisively. You erased me. I streamlined. You stole. You weren't acting like a partner. You stopped showing up. I stopped speaking in meetings you hijacked. I was still in the room. You were detached, because I was watching you prep a mutiny. Jason crossed his arms. So what now? Liars. Drama. No drama. I said. Just facts. Christ. You're really doing this. I've already started. By midnight, I had everything labeled, every edit I made on our origin decks. Each client name I brought in first. Every IP filing with my initials. Jason never touched the filings. He thought paperwork was beneath him. I opened an email from 6 months ago. Subject. Core Voice Guidelines. Written by me. Sent from my account. Forwarded by Jason with his name at the bottom. I called Leela. She picked up fast. Hey, I need access to the archives. They're under Jason's login. I know. Can you get them? A pause. I can try. No. Just be honest. She exhaled. Yes. Then do it tonight. Elena, are we okay? You helped him rewrite the credits. I was following instructions. Now you're following mine. At 2:07 a.m., Leela sent a zip file. I downloaded it, extracted it, scanned for metadata, drafts with timestamps, comment threads. My edits in red. In the morning, Jason stopped me by the espresso machine. You're making this ugly, he said. You already did. You want to blow up the firm because of your ego. I looked at him. My ego didn't forge documents. You're not going to win. I don't need to win. I just need the truth on record. At noon, I met with Anthony again. He flipped through the folder, slow, careful. This is good, he said. You built a timeline, layered it with primary sources. He says I'm emotional. Anthony smiled faintly. Good. Let him keep saying that. It'll make the evidence hit harder. Jason texted that night. We should sit down, just us. I didn't respond. Instead, I opened a blank document. Title? Statement of record. He started writing. Not from memory, from proof. Asterisk, 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 asterisk. The safe was wedged behind a stack of unused lighting equipment in the hall closet. I hadn't opened it in 3 years. I knelt, spun the dial at 7-4-12, our incorporation date. Jason never asked. He was too distracted building his image to notice what I was building beneath it. The lock clicked. I pulled the door open. Inside, black folders, labeled in silver ink. A thumb drive. 3 signed documents in plastic sleeves. And a yellow envelope with my mother's handwriting. In case you forget who you are. I spread everything across the dining table. My phone buzzed. Jason. I saw Leela's system access. Don't be reckless. I didn't reply. I flipped open the first folder, a partnership agreement. Mercer, Alcatha's signature. Mine, dated, initialed by a notary. Paragraph 4. 3. Creative origination shall remain credited to their author unless mutually reassigned in writing. He never reassigned anything. The next folder. Voice architecture. Elena Mercer, 12 pages. Trademark drafts. Client use logs. A copyright confirmation. I heard my mother's voice like a thread through the silence. If a man asks you to build something and doesn't offer to share the deed, keep the blueprint. She said that when I was 17, I'd won a regional ad design contest, and my then boyfriend tried to take credit. Diane, I'd said, he just helped a little. She laughed. They always start with just helped, then they ask for the trophy. I opened the envelope with her note. Inside, a flash drive labeled Cedar Launch. I plugged it in. It was the very first deck. Slides I designed in the first month of the firm. Jason's name wasn't on a single one. My voiceover guided every transition. He once said, "Your voice is too sharp for presentations." But he used it when no one was looking. I called the lawyer. Anthony, it's Elena. Talk to me. I found the original trademark drafts, copyright entries, too, with registration receipts and timestamps. That's gold. And the partnership agreement. Clause 4. 3. You kept all this. I learned from my mother. A pause. Smart woman. I scrolled back through the flash drive, found a voice memo, my voice, clear and controlled, laying out pitch rhythm. Jason had mimicked my cadence for years. He always said, "Let me go first, soften them up." No, he wanted to sound like me without having to stand behind me. I texted, "Leela, print everything. To sets. One for Anthony. One for secure storage." She replied instantly. Already done. You okay? I typed. I'm surgical. The apartment felt colder. Or maybe clearer. I put the folders back into a new fireproof box, one with biometric lock this time. I changed the code. Not to our anniversary. Not to his birthday, to my mother's. The 6th of November 58. She taught me preservation wasn't paranoia. It was precision. Asterisk, 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 asterisk. The ballroom at the Langford was packed. Suits, teeth, gloss. Jason was 3 steps into his pitch on the raised platform, gesturing like a man who'd already won. Anthony stood beside me near the bar, motionless. He doesn't know yet, I said. He will in 15 seconds. The courier moved through the crowd, envelope in hand, cream-colored. Heavy. Jason saw him and paused mid-sentence. Good afternoon, Mr. Alcott. This is for you. Jason blinked, took the envelope, eyes darting toward me. He didn't open it immediately. Not in front of investors. That told me everything. I turned to Anthony. Let's move. He nodded, guiding me toward the exit. Behind us, I heard Jason's voice crack. Excuse me, can someone confirm what this is? I didn't turn in the lobby. Anthony adjusted his cufflinks. That was clean, he said. No yelling, no drama, just delivery. It's not personal. It's exact. Back in his office, he laid out the documents on the table. Injunction is filed. IP claim is filed. And the freeze on shared assets took effect this morning. I leaned forward. How long does he have to respond? 10 days to comply. 30 to contest. He'll push. He's welcome to try. The paper trail's solid. And you signed every IP submission. He'll claim verbal agreement. And we'll ask for written proof, which he doesn't have. I stared at the stamped forms. This still feels surgical. That's the point. We're not burning bridges. We're reclaiming what's ours. Later, Jason called. I let it ring out. Then again. This time, I answered. Elena. Yes. What the hell did you just do? I exercised my rights. At a live pitch, you used my deck. I built the framework. No, I built the structure. You added polish. You were pitching my lines. That's debatable. Then debate it in court. Elena, Jesus, this isn't war. Then stop acting like it's conquest. The next morning, Leela brought me coffee without a word. She placed it down, then hesitated. He's unraveling, she said quietly. I know. He asked to revoke my system access. You're under my authorization. I told them. They deferred. Anthony will handle it. She nodded. Do I stay? If you're asking for permission, the answer is yes. Jason stormed into the office at noon. I didn't look up. We need to talk, he said. I'm booked. He stepped closer. I have clients calling me in panic. They should be calling the true owner of the work. Elena, stop this. You stopped this. I'm just correcting the lie. You're freezing funds. The company's bleeding. You should have thought of that before stealing credit. I didn't steal. You filed me out. Illegally. Without my knowledge. You weren't participating. I was building behind you while you performed. He sat across from me, jaw tight. What do you want? Acknowledgement. I'll give you attribution. You'll give me authorship. That's a reach. No, Jason. That's the law. Anthony entered without knocking. We're done here, he said calmly. Jason stood. She's blowing it all up. She's preserving what you buried. Jason glared at me. Congratulations. You've killed the firm. I met his eyes. No, I've resurrected the truth. He left, but not fast, not clean, and not in control. Leela closed the door behind her. You were right, she said. He's working on something. New pitch, new company. He's calling it Alcott Strategies. Internal team says he's claiming clean break no history. Wiping the record, trying to. Says the old firm was a transitional venture. That it never reflected his real vision. I sat back. What's the launch timeline? 3 weeks. He's already pitching. Clients? Mostly vultures. Startups with more ego than budget. But he's using our old language, your phrasing, the brand formulas. Of course he is. Leela slid a folder onto my desk. I pulled his notes from the shared drive before he locked me out. There's overlap with 3 of your signed briefs. Let me guess, he reworded the titles. He changed cultural mirror to brand symmetry. But the structure's identical. I opened the folder. Line by line. My work and his. Voice. He's going to pretend we never existed, I said. Leela crossed her arms. What do? We remind people where the work came from. I opened a clean document. Title: The Voice Behind the Brand. A Founder's Blueprint. Elena, this reads like a confession. Leela said, It's not. It's a statement of origin. You're publishing this through a ghost agency. No name, no contact info, just facts and timestamps. He'll know it's you. That's the point. But no one else will. She hesitated. He'll try to discredit it. He can try. The language is neutral. Nothing inflammatory. Just history. And once it's out there, industry will recognize the patterns. Our campaigns are studied in portfolio schools. My tone is recognizable to people who paid attention. She smiled slightly. You're betting on memory. I'm betting on pattern recognition. Strategists read. The next day, I sent the draft to a PR contact under a dummy domain. No intro, no signature. Just attached. Background white paper for editorial consideration. Timely in light of recent agency launches. 2 days later, Leela buzzed my office. You should see this. She handed me her phone. Creative Ledger Weekly was trending a feature. Ghostwriter, or visionary, who really built the brand empire? Below it, excerpts from my white paper. Bullet points matched against Jason's new site. I handed it back. Quiet enough? I asked. Leela grinned. Just loud enough to sting. Jason called that night. This your idea of clever? No idea what you're talking about. Don't play. You released a hit piece. It was anonymous. You think that protects you? I think truth protects itself. You're jealous. Of what? My evolution. Your plagiarism. You always needed the last word. And you always needed my first draft. He hung up. The next morning, 3 clients emailed me directly. Not to gossip. To ask if I was consulting. Asterisk, 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 asterisk. The Mactor D looked up as I entered. Mercer. I nodded. This way. The room was low-lit. Hushed but tense oak walls, navy suits. And the kind of laughter that always sounds like it's checking a watch. I walked past a cluster of investors. They turned. A few smiled. Jason froze with his wine halfway to his mouth. Elena. I didn't answer. I kept walking. Martin Reyes stood at the head of the long table and pulled out the seat beside him. You wore red, he said. I figured someone had to. Dinner moved in currents. Jason kept glancing down the table. I didn't look at him. Martin leaned in. You ready? I nodded. Whenever. He tapped his glass twice. Before dessert, I'd like to introduce someone. Elena Mercer. Some of you know her work, even if you don't know her name. Jason stiffened. She's building something new, Martin continued. Something I think this room should hear. Silence. A spotlight without a bulb. I stood. My name is Elena Mercer. I was the co-founder and creative strategist behind Mercer Alcott. I authored the campaigns for Halden, Veer, and North Glass. Some of you invested in those results. I watched a few heads nod. I'm not here to reclaim anything, I said. I'm here to offer something different. Jason spoke up. This isn't the time, Martin interrupted. Calm. She has the floor. I looked at Jason. Thank you, Jason, for the segue. A few chuckles. I'm launching Mercer Strategies, a compact brand development consultancy focused on origin architecture and legacy positioning. We don't just build visibility. We build narrative precision that sticks after the ad spend dries up. A woman near the center leaned forward. And your differentiator, original authorship, transparent sourcing, no borrowed voices. Jason snorted. Sounds small scale. That's the point, I said. We're not inflating. We're embedding. Another man raised his hand. Client list. Early conversations with Veer again. And 3 others I won't name until ink meets paper. Jason's jaw twitched. He knew one of them had emailed me yesterday. Martin spoke. Elena pitched this to me over coffee. I asked her here because I believe in clarity. She built what others took credit for. Now she's building again. A pause. The woman across from me smiled. Send me a deck. I'll send the original. I said. Not the edit. Later, as coats were gathered and numbers exchanged, Jason cornered me near the exit. You blindsided me. No. You saw me coming. You just didn't move. You made me look like a thief. I didn't make you anything. Martin's backing you. Martin remembers who did the work. He stepped closer. You're not the only one with ideas. No. But I'm the one who owns hers. Martin approached, handing me his card. You'll need a bigger table soon. I smiled. I'll bring my own. Asterisk, 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 asterisk. The call came at 9:13 p.m. I let it ring. To the edge. Then answered. Jason? A pause. Then, you picked up. You asked to talk. Yeah. His voice caught. This isn't going the way I thought. No. He exhaled. They're pulling out. The investors. Some of the clients too. Is that why you called? No. I mean, not just that. I waited. Elena, can we meet? We're already speaking. I mean, face to face. No. He went quiet. Then, you sound different. I am. A beat past. I miss us. There's no us, Jason. There's you. And there's me. It didn't start that way. No. You made sure of that. I didn't know it would fall apart. You didn't think you'd get caught. That's not fair. You forged documents. I panicked. You erased me. I was trying to move forward by rewriting the past. His breath stuttered. Do you hate me? No. That's surprising. I'm not interested in hating you. That's effort. He laughed softly, bitter. God, you sound cold. I sound clear. I remember when you used to cry after meetings. I remember when you used to lie and call it strategy. Another silence. I keep thinking I should have just brought you in. You mean not cut me out, right? Why didn't you? I don't know. Ego. Fear. You were better than me in rooms that mattered. And instead of rising, you stole. I didn't mean to destroy it. You meant to control it. His voice dropped. I don't sleep much. I do. Elena, what happens now? Whatever you make of what's left. And us. There is no us. I'm sorry. I know. I lost something real. You lost someone real. I never stopped loving you. You just stopped respecting me. He didn't reply. For a long time. The only sound was his breathing. I wish I could fix it. I don't. Why? Because then you'd think it was yours to fix. He inhaled. Shaky. I deserved that. Yes. Will you be okay? I already am. He tried once more. Do you think of me at all? Only in boardrooms. Never in bedrooms. Click. The room was cold. Gray walls, gray suits, fluorescent honesty. I wore black. No red this time. Red draws heat. I didn't need heat. I needed precision. State your full name for the record. The court reporter said, Elena Diane Mercer. And your role in the original incorporation of Mercer, Alcott. Co-founder, lead strategist, brand architect, IP originator for our top 6 client campaigns. Jason cleared his throat across from me. His tie was too tight. His collar had always been afraid of pressure. My attorney adjusted his notes. Ms. Mercer, were you ever informed of a legal amendment removing you as managing partner? No. Were you ever asked to sign a resignation? No. Were you aware your name had been removed from the company's filing with the state? Not until I found it online. What did you do when you discovered this? I printed it. Then I called a lawyer. Jason shifted in his seat. Mr. Alcott, the opposing counsel said, can you confirm who authored the original voice architecture framework? Jason hesitated. We developed it together. I didn't move. And do you have documentation of your contributions? We brainstormed. Elena took notes. Did you review and sign off on the filing? I trusted her to handle those. My lawyer smiled without smiling. So to clarify, the opposing counsel said, you're saying you made verbal contributions, but cannot provide documented authorship? Jason's eyes flicked to mine. Correct. In deposition, silence is louder than testimony. Back on the record, they played the audio clip I'd submitted. Jason's voice from an old meeting. Let Elena take this. It's her model. The date stamp was from our 3rd month of business. He looked down. Afterward, we waited in the hall while counsel conferred inside. Jason stood 5 feet away, not speaking. You look tired, I said. He blinked. I haven't been sleeping. I remember. He nodded. You're good at this. I'm good at facts. He rubbed the back of his neck. They're going to rule in your favor. I know. You're not even angry. No. Why not? Because anger's noisy. This is better. 10 minutes later, the attorneys emerged. Jason's lawyers spoke first. We'd like to settle. My attorney didn't flinch. She'll require full reinstatement of equity, immediate dissolution of the Alcott rebrand, and a public statement acknowledging authorship. Jason opened his mouth, then closed it. That's a lot. No, I said. That's precise. He signed, his hands trembled. We shook hands at the end is colder than mine. Will you stay on? He asked quietly. No. You could. I don't need to. I'm sorry it ended this way. It didn't end this way, I said. It ended the moment you thought I wouldn't fight. Outside, reporters asked for a statement. I gave them 3 words. It's been corrected. And walked past the flash. Asterisk, 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 the glass was clean. My name stretched across it in etched serif letters. Elena Mercer Creative Strategies. No co-founder. No hyphen. No shadow behind it. Leela knocked once before stepping inside. Contracts signed. Halden's coming. Back. I looked up. Direct. No middleman. They want you. I smiled. We'll make room. They said they don't care how big the firm is, just who's behind the thinking. That's the right kind of client. She held up a box. New business cards. Want the honors. I opened it. White, smooth finish. My name centered. Nothing decorative. Perfect, I said. Give a stack to each intern. They're in room B. Want me to bring them in? Not yet. Leela sat across from me, legs crossed, tablet on her knee. You realize they all think you're a little terrifying. Good. One of them whispered she was scared to write a tagline wrong. She'll be fine once she learns to write one right. Leela laughed. You've changed. No. I've just stopped apologizing. She grew quiet. I meant what I said before. You didn't have to bring me. You stayed when it got complicated. That's loyalty. I was scared. You still came in every morning. I thought maybe you'd pull back. Fade out. I don't fade, Leela. I reframe. There was a knock. One of the interns, Nina, peeked in. Sorry. Leela said you might want to see the Veer pitch draft. Come in. She stepped inside, clutching a folder. Barely 22. High ponytail. No rings. Posture like she'd shrink if you let her. I took the folder. Flipped through it. You wrote this. Yes. It's not bad. Needs precision. But the rhythm's clean. Her eyes widened. Thank you. You went for clarity instead of flash. That's smart. I was trying to echo your tone. Don't echo. Just understand it. Then build your own. She nodded. I didn't think I'd make it through week 1. Neither did I when I started. But here we are. Nina smiled, relieved. Nervous, grateful. Good work, I said. We'll revise it together. When she left, Leela said, she reminds me of you. She reminds me of who I wasn't allowed to be. Later, I stood by the glass door, watching the team move. Quiet rhythm, focused energy, real work. No theater. Leela appeared beside me. Feels different, doesn't it? She asked. Yes, I said. This time, it's mine. Asterisk, 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 and the Brand Architect of the Year award goes to. I felt it before I heard it. Elena Mercer. Applause rose. Clean and bright. I stood, walked steadily, heels clicking on marble like punctuation marks. The lights didn't blind. They bathed. The stage was higher than I expected. The mix stood still. I adjusted it. I scanned the room once. Faces I knew. Ones that had dismissed, borrowed, imitated. I didn't look for Jason. I'll keep this brief, I said. The room quieted. I was once told my voice was too loud. A few heads turned. A few smiled knowingly. I believed it, for a while. So I made myself smaller. I let others speak over work I authored. Until one day, I didn't. Silence. Not the awkward kind. The listening kind. This voice built brands. And it will never be quiet again. Applause broke fast. I nodded once. Left the stage. Backstage, Martin handed me a glass of water. You didn't flinch, he said. There was nothing left to flinch from. Want to see the press? Later. Leela met me by the hallway. You hit them right between the ribs. They'll survive. Barely. At the bar, someone tapped my shoulder. Elena. I turned. She was maybe 30, maybe less. Nervous energy. I just wanted to say thank you, she said. I interned at Halden. You probably don't remember. I do. She blinked. You do? You asked me once how to write a tagline that didn't sound like a tagline. She laughed. I still don't know. You will. Just stop trying to impress the room. Talk to the reader. Her eyes lit up. That's actually helpful. Then use it. Outside. The air was cool. I stepped away from the crowd, heels soft on the grass of the rooftop garden. Someone else approached. A man. Familiar posture, Jason. He stopped a few feet away. Congratulations. Thank you. I saw your speech. I didn't write it for you. I know. But I heard it anyway. A beat. You look in place. I am. He exhaled. You were always the one. I didn't answer. He nodded, half smiled. That line will echo. It's not a line, I said. It's a decision. He lowered his eyes. I should go. You already did. He turned, walked back inside. When the applause faded, I didn't need it to return. I had my own silence now, and it was full. Asterisk, 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 asterisk. I closed my laptop at 6:30. No alarms, no dings. Just a slow exhale. The office clears on its own now. They don't wait for me to leave. They don't watch the clock. They move with their own momentum. That's how I know I built it right. I slide on my coat and head out into the dusk. The air is cool, not sharp. I walk. I don't rush. I don't rehearse conversations in my head anymore. At home, I open the window before turning on the lights. I cook barefoot garlic, olive oil, fennel. No one tells me it's too strong. No one says it lingers. I let it. The doorbell rings. Leela stands there, holding a bottle of wine and a bag of bread. I brought carbs. I step back to let her in. You're finally learning. She hands me the bottle. It's a Malbec, from the investor dinner guy. Martin. He sent it with a handwritten note. Said he owes you dinner. He still thinks I'm going to open a second office. You're not. Not yet. We eat in the living room, plates balanced on our knees. Leela wipes her mouth. You know what I noticed? What? You don't interrupt anymore. I raise an eyebrow. I mean, you never did out of rudeness. You just always had the next 5 moves ready. You don't jump in like that now. I'm not trying to stay ahead. Just present. She takes a sip. Do you miss it? The fight? She nods, double quotes, no. Not even a little. After she leaves, I wash the dishes slowly. I don't check my phone once. The next night, I go to a bookstore. A woman near the counter recognizes me from the award feature. You're Elena Mercer, she says, double quotes, yes. Can I just say your speech? I watched it 3 times. Thank you. She hesitates. Was it hard? What? Reclaiming all of it. I smile, only until I stop asking for permission. She laughs. That's going on my wall. I take a book of poetry home. I read 3 pages before falling asleep on the couch. When I wake, the sun is low and kind to mornings later. I get an email from an old colleague. Not Jason. Someone who watched but never interfered. Subject. Your voice message. I didn't speak up. I should have. I see it now. You were always the real thing. I hope you're writing something more than strategy these days. The world needs more of that voice. I reply simply, maybe I am. On Fridays, I closed the office early. I started calling them clarity hours. No one argues. Leela calls it the sacred silence. One afternoon, I walk through the neighborhood and pass a group of interns from a local design school. They're arguing about something tagline construction. If I had to guess, one of them spots me. Wait, aren't you? Yes, I say. We're huge fans of your work. Are you? He nods rapidly. We studied your campaigns in class, especially the Halden one. What did you take from it? A girl speaks up. You didn't overreach. You let the message sit in its own confidence. I smile. That's the trick. Let the truth breathe. That night, I host dinner at my place. 5 friends. No clients. We talk about everything but business. One brings a guitar. Another makes a joke about me being CEO of Quiet Power. I raise a glass to not shrinking. They cheer when everyone leaves. I sit by the window. No music, just the city breathing. I remember Jason's voice once saying, "You don't need to speak for the room to feel you." He meant it as a correction. He was right, but not in the way he thought. Now, when I speak, it's by choice, not to fill silence, not to win the room, just to hear myself clearly.